We good?
1, 2, 3. You guys are good.
Yay! Okay. We live.
Okay, we live.
All right, you ready?
Already.
All right, let's do this. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Xzavier V Simon here, the host of the Modern Queer Podcast, coming at y'all out of Wav Village. Shout out to Wav Village, y'all.
Come on, good shout out. Okay.
That's our sponsor for the Modern Queer Podcast. And today I am here with the lovely, the incomparable, the feisty.
Feisty, okay.
Yes. You're a little feisty, fiery, a whole bunch of other adjectives that I could throw up in here. I'm here with Jesse Davis, a.k.a. J. Jacoby, a.k.a. HimHim of Him, Hers Dance, or is it Him, Hers Heels? I always get that mixed up.
Him, Hers Dance. Heels is a thing, but that name may be changing.
Okay.
There's some things with that.
How you doing today?
I was doing pretty good.
Well, tonight. How you doing good? Right.
All right, tonight. You know, I'm doing pretty good. You know, life always has its challenges. It's just about how you overcome and you persevere and you keep things moving.
This is true. So, for those that don't know, me and Jesse have a long history. Like, how long have we known each other now? For like over 10 years at this point? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know you were in high school when I first met you.
No, I think I was in middle school, actually.
Ooh.
I remember I was
that young?
Yeah, I think it was in my 8th grade? Year? I think it was my 8th grade year.
8th going into 9th kind of thing?
Because
of Jesus Christ.
ISO.
Oh, right. That was days. What, 2015?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Shit, how old was I? I was, 24, 25? Ooh, help me, Jesus.
Ooh, that's about 8 years ago.
I know. Ooh. But anyway, so I interviewed Jesse multiple times now. One for the work that I do with Flintside for Him, Hers Dance.
Correct.
And then once for the Modern Queer, talking about your experiences as a black queer man in America.
Yeah.
But now the Flint industry, as we know it, in the city of Flint has changed dramatically. And your role in the city has changed dramatically. So, you ready to deep dive into some gay shit, some Flint District shit, some gay Flint District shit?
Come on, gay Flint District shit.
Because it's some gay Flint District shit that be happening. Maybe I'm revealing too much. Maybe I'm talking too much. So give the people, before we really start, like give the people a heads up about who you are, what your role is in this Flint industry, and all that jazz.
Okay. So my name is Jesse, but you can also call me J. Jacoby. I also go by ItsHimHim official HimHim.
Okay, official.
My role, I am a musician. I'm a singer songwriter. I am also a dancer. I act a little bit too here and there on the sides. I do a lot of good, do deals, here in the city. My role, the biggest role that I have is Him, Hers Dance, which I've really sat on that name for a while now because
right.
I feel like it's a little bigger than dance now.
Right.
So I've been thinking about changing that to Him, Hers Productions.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So I've been thinking about changing that to Him, Hers Productions. But it is Him, Hers Dance. We dance, baby. We dance down on an industry and entertainment spectrum. So we do a lot of heels, urban dance, hip hop, contemporary. But we do practice all different styles, all the way from your classical styles like modern and ballet.
You do a lot of shit. Mm-hmm. So my first thing is, and why I interviewed you for Flintside is you are a man, a black man who dances in heels.
Yeah.
And now in the 2020 sense, that's a little bit more, what's the word I want to use, acceptable, but that still comes with some issues and some backlash and some stereotypes and some comments and things like that.
It does.
So like, talk to me a little bit about what's it like being a man in heels and dancing and teaching the art and skill of heels.
I like the way you said that, the art and skill of heels, because heels is a skill. But you also have to embody that heel too. You know, dancing in the heel isn't just you putting on the heel and you just dancing in the heel. No, you have to embody that bitch. You gotta embody that motherfucking heel. Do you hear me? But I started dancing out of a heel. You know, I was dancing flat for a long time. You know what I'm saying? In shoes. I started off lyrically trained, jazz trained. And then I broke off into ballet and modern. And heels for me, you know, I danced at Flint Institute of Music. And I would be in a ballroom and I would just go in. This is the phase of my life where I was just going to take and steal my mama's heels from out of her closet. And I liked dancing in the heels, so that's what I was doing. So I would go in a ballroom and I would just, you know, I started dancing in the heels and I started choreographing my own steps.
I think that's funny you mentioned it. I wonder if that's like a quintessential experience that a lot of men have, where you go into your mom's closet and you just find a pair of heels and you're like, what the hell is this? You just pull them on.
Not even just heels. You find your mama heels. You find your mama eyeliner. You go and take her combs. You may go and take even some shit. Some of the girls, you know, they're going to take some of the blouses and the dresses and the
panties.
Okay,
these are true things. These are true things. Mm-hmm. That's wild. So it's 2021.
Yeah.
We are in, again, that Flint District.
Don't remind me I'm getting old.
You still young, you still vibing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So one of the things that I want to get into is, you know, the tea about the queer community in this Flint industry. That's definitely a highlight of something that I want to talk to you about. And something that you told me that you wanted to discuss.
Yeah.
And so, like, what are your thoughts on, like, the sort of, I'm going to call it's a bit of a division between the two communities, and it's a little bit of a, how do I put it? A little, we don't want to fuck with each other.
Okay, and when we talk about the two communities, what are we talking about?
We talking about the music community, the Flint District, the music, arts, and things like that. And then we talking about just the queer community itself, who might want to engage with the Flint industry or be a part of the Flint industry because they are, you know, artists, or they are producers or writers or painters, and et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, and that just, first of all, I want to say, hey, Desi. But in that just, I want to say that I feel like we've always been present. Queer people have been present in everything, in anything that the world does as the world progresses within the economy. We're always present. Most of the time, I think other people's cultures and communities who don't represent queer culture just like us in the back. You like us to do your hair, you like us to do your makeup, you like us to do your nails, you like us to write your songs, you like us to be present in the process of your creative sets, you want us to be your choreographers. But as far as us taking power is what I'll say. As far as us taking power to be the artist, be the musician, be in the band, be, you know, in the forefront of everything that is going on and who people see first, we're not present. We're now becoming present. And shout out to all of those influencers who have, you know, been
paving the way.
Yes, who are paving the way for us to continue to stay in the front and you know, and build those monuments.
So, like, it's interesting that you say that queer people have always been on the scene, basically, in one form or multiple fashions. And yeah, it's almost like it reminds me of a lot of conversation that I have with women in the industry. It's always like we relegated to behind the scenes or to the back, or like you just said, like they don't want them to be in front. You know, we don't want to talk about or uplift or elevate those particular voices because we want a certain monolithic nature or control of how a specific industry should look. And so I think about when I interviewed Farillo Star, and I was talking to him about his experiences being a queer black man in this Flint industry. And one of the things that he really talked about with me was, you know, not feeling like he had the support and not feeling like, you know, not feeling like he was a part of it. You know, a part of the Flint the Flint industry, because I think that might have changed a little bit since my interview with him, because that was like over the summer, like spring, summertime, early this year. But like he was talking about how, you know, how there was a lot of events and stuff popping up, you know what I mean? But he wasn't invited to a lot of them. You know, he wasn't getting those emails, or he wasn't getting those text messages and no phone conversations. And he felt some kind of way. And, you know, he felt some kind of way because he felt like he was excluded because of his sexuality and because he makes pop music. Like, he doesn't make rap music. He probably could if he wanted to, but he makes pop music. And so it was like those two things left him, you know, sort of in the background. What's your take on that? Especially considering you too are a part of this. You do music in addition to, you know, dance. And I know just from your Facebook posts over the last couple months, you know, you've really been trying to push for more visibility of dance in these music videos.
Yeah. I'll say, okay. I think everything is always going to be a matter of perspective when we have these types of conversations. Because one, every queer person and every gay person is going to be different.
Right.
Every gay person moves different. How they handle certain situations is different. And I'm one of those people who believe in creating your own wave. My wave is my wave. It's for me only. If you contribute to this wave and you like what I'm doing here, come on in. I'm thankful.
I like how you said that. Come on in. Like,
come on in. You know, it's like an invitation. You know, I find that, you know, anybody who I work with, if I work with you and I make a conscious decision that I want to work with you, I fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? I got that. That's my vibe. If I make the conscious decision to put my hard work and time, because I'm big on my time. I don't play on my time. So if I take that initiative to work with somebody, that means I really like what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I put that same effort and feel into my own personal work. And I'm learning for myself to be a little bit more patient. But to get back into your question, I'm so thankful for dance. Because dance, and don't get me wrong, music works well with me, especially when I was really heavy into music, like back in 2019. I started really getting into the studio with the champions.
Shout out to the singles, Intentions.
You know, shout out to Intentions, but not just Intentions. I want to give a huge shout out to Not Here For That. Because Not Here For That has a lot of relevance for, you know, I'll even mention Bernard Terry. I was in the studio with BT when I produced Not Here For That. And that vocal, not just BT. I'm going to give a huge shout out to, he going to want to call me, GS. I'm going to give a huge shout out to GS.
GS The Dream?
For sure. That's
shout out to GS
when
The Dream.
I initially started recording Not Here For That, I was in GS studio.
Okay.
For sure. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's all about who you connect with. It's about who you talk to. It's about who you want to put your initial investment in with. You get what I'm saying? I do believe that first impressions do matter. And whatever first impression that you give whoever it is you decide to work with will dictate how that person respects you.
So how is it like being, you know, doing music and being in the studio with these brothers? Because I interviewed GS and I interviewed, unfortunately I didn't get the opportunity to sit down with BT, you know, rest his soul. But how is it work? How is it in the studio working with? Because not only that, you also collaborated with Ventrell of Sad and Crispy, Sayak, shout out to him for
sure.
No Auto Him.
Yeah.
And,
wow, that's crazy, yeah.
Right, that's a throwback a little bit, right? Like, and I think, what did he do? He designed...
He did my outfit
the whole
cover
outfit.
art.
Right. And then...
He did my heels and everything.
the photographer for that was Joshua Johnson.
Yes, who is queer.
Right, who is queer. So, like... Working with Ventura, working with GS, being in the studio with BT. I'm gonna put somebody else on blast that you've been working with. Shout out to Ben.
Come on, Benny Beats.
You know, you've been in the studio with him. You know, and for the lack of a better word, like all of these are heterosexual cisgender men. Like, so how is it being in the studio and just collaborating and just being around that?
It's about the music. I mean, I feel like everybody who I've worked with have been heavily concentrated in the music. And just going back into it a little bit about what you were saying, Flint is very pop. And I think, and you know,
Pop
even
or
though
rap?
Flint is very rap, but when we talk about singing, Flint is very pop. True. You don't have a lot of soul R&B influence.
I mean, you got a couple. You got
your Rashad Reeves.
You got Rashad Reeves. You got Brila Renee.
I feel like Brila Renee is more on the pop side. Pop.
She could be.
She could be R&B heavy, but she hasn't given us that feel yet. I'm ready, Brila.
We all ready.
We all ready. It's coming. It's coming, y'all. It's coming.
I think there's a couple people who could step into that bag if they wanted to.
As far as R&B, most definitely. And huge shout out to Rashad Reed too on that R&B tip, because Rashad has been killing the game on R&B for real for a while.
Who you also choreographed?
Yeah, I choreographed his
single
video
with Ty. Who was what's the Xzavier name? Who was featured on his single for the video that y'all shot? Dang.
Oh, that's another video.
I'm thinking of...
it's 2 videos. I did 2 videos with... but it's Taj, yeah.
Okay.
I did 2 videos with Rashad. I did the Vibe video, and then I did Fuck the Foreplay. So I did the production for Fuck the Foreplay, and I did just the choreography for Vibe.
So it would seem like you working with all these... It would seem like for you, like, your sexuality really doesn't even matter in these instances. Would you say that is true? Or would you say that that's just not something that you per se led with?
I don't think that's what I led with. So since I didn't lead, I mean, I don't feel like it's necessary for me to lead with my sexuality. Like, I don't know if in that instance. That's why I say I appreciate dance, because I feel like dance. I can't really say that, because like when you really look at the facts, I've had that open opportunity where I've worked with. I'll just say like I've worked with straight heterosexual men to the point where it's like as far as my sexuality concerned, that's never been a thing of concern. Like, as far as features go and working with different artists in those aspects, I don't think I necessarily have those type of issues either, because it's some artists out here who I'm working on some things. Yeah, I'm working on some stuff.
Okay. We'll have to ask about that later.
And I'm working on some things, and I ain't had no issues.
Okay.
And these people willing to work with me. My sound is diverse in ways. So I mean, I ain't really had those type of issues for real.
Well, that's good.
But I also always think it's about the content too, because my content ain't gay as fuck. If you get what I'm saying,
do you think it would be a problem if your content is gay as fuck? Okay, well, let's back up a little bit. Let's define what does gay as fuck mean for you?
Heavily indulging in the nuances of my sexuality,
which would be
sex, language. And when I say language, I mean...
So we talking about, like, you in the studio talking about sucking a nigga dick, eating ass, tongue kissing.
I mean, straight niggas eat ass.
I mean, I'm just saying what... I mean, but
that's a fact, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, everybody eating ass these days,
nowadays.
Apparently. Like, I remember a time when, we wasn't even talking about eating pussy like that.
Right. But,
you know what I mean?
But when I say, like, as far as gay culture goes, I'm not about to put Jess Sky on the record with me, and I'm talking about Kiki's, and I'm talking about having a Kiki, and I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not
talking about having a Kiki.
We're about to have a Kiki. I'm not about to try to put Jess Sky on the record, and that's like a part of the record. Like that's the conversation of the record. I'm not like it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so again, define for us. What is gay as fuck for you as far as music? Because at this point, we have established that everybody out here eating ass, so that ain't really gay no more. So,
to me, gay as fuck as far as music is when you have an artist who is heavily derived within aspects of the culture in the music. And that can be as far as like the language. So the terminology, gay terminology, it could be the conversation as far as, you know, just sexuality, as far as dating and sex. To me, that's the gay as fuck portions of...
So would you consider Lil Nas X to be gay as fuck?
As far as the music goes? No.
Do tell.
His writing, as far as his music, like, don't get me wrong, he's very truthful in his music as far as his sexuality goes. So if he's talking about a man in his music, then he's talking about a man in his music. You get what I'm saying? But as far as the content of his music, it's not... And I don't want to say it like this either, because I don't feel like there's a such thing as what I'm getting ready to say. But, like, I don't feel like it's disrespectfully gay, if that makes sense, to the point where it's like, okay, if I was to try to... Like, let's say if I'm Lil Nas X, right? And I want to put Drake on my record... But so, I'm putting Drake on my record, and I'm talking about, okay, I'm about to suck the fuck out of that dick, and I'm about to do blah 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 blah, say split on the record,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
So you think so specifically with Lil Nas X, like at the core, his music is still very much sort of rapish.
Not even necessarily just rapish, but it's conscious. Ooh.
Look at you out
here.
That's
the word.
Look at you out here.
It's conscious. Like, the music is conscious.
So what do we mean by conscious? Because we got it, like, so one thing that I'm learning these days, especially in something that I definitely want to, like, dive deeper more into, is language, right? Because conscious, you know, for me could mean one thing, for everybody in this room could mean another thing. So, like, what do you mean by his music is conscious?
I'm not saying he's conscious as far as what he says, but the music, as far as what he talks about, is conscious. It's real. It's real life.
Okay.
He talks about real life experiences as far as who he is as a man through his gayness, and not necessarily using the gayness as
right
the construction of who he is in the music.
So you're saying that in his music, he is sort of taking a more introspective dive into himself and sort of expressing that.
Yes.
Got you. Interesting. So what about, and I don't know if you listen to him, Troye Sivan.
I don't.
Oh, you gotta listen to him.
Okay.
So Troye Sivan, I believe he's from Australia or something like that.
Okay.
But he does music. So he's a white guy in American terms who's also queer and has a totally different take on music and just being queer in music. So where you have Lil Nas X over here, you know, genre bending through country music, through hip hop, through rap, through a little bit of R&B. Troye Sivan is over here in like pop and punk rock and alternative music. Like his recent, I can't remember the song, but his recent video that I saw from him, like he took, it's very explicit, right? Come
on, word
like
choice.
it's very explicit. Like it's showing dudes kissing, it's showing dudes fucking, it's showing him having fun with multiple dudes, you know. And then it's like one scene where it's just a huge orgy of just. But it's a tasteful orgy. And so what I mean by that is like one of the main scenes is like it's a group of men and women, you know, and trans people just all sort of like laying on top of each other. Just like sort of, you know, sort of kissing and sort of, you know, reaching and grabbing and stuff like that. Like I thought it was beautiful and very tasteful. And so like when I look at Lil Nas X and I look at Troye Sivan, I think of two pioneers because I don't think Troye gets enough credit. You know, I think we're so hyper-focused on Lil Nas X right now because of how very conscious, but how very in-your-face it is.
I'm not going to say that Lil Nas X is in your face because I don't feel like Lil Nas X is in your face. I just feel like...
You don't believe my man's is twerking,
I don't
slide
think
down
he's
the
in
pole.
Visually, yeah. But like auditorily, no.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, Lil Nas X, because I feel like, you know, as far as like even like his cover art, you know, he's naked looking like he's floating up above the Garden of Eden.
Right, very biblical references.
And I feel like as far as that aspect of Lil Nas X and like his visuals, Yes, very in your face. He be trolling the fuck out of social media.
Yes, he did all the time.
Trolling the fuck out of social media.
It is funny as hell.
Come on, teach those lessons. But like, as far as the conversation, the energy, the vibe, when you sit with him to watch his interviews, no, he's not in your face at all.
No, he's really not. Like, I watched his Apple Music interview,
which was so good.
It was, and it was the kind of conversation that me and you was having right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think for me, like, I like that. You know what I mean? That it's almost like we beginning to normalize what this can look like, or maybe what it should have always looked like.
I like that better.
And we just got so focused on the labels and what we think these labels represent and the identities and the visuals and things of that nature. So bringing that back to a Flintistry section, right? Do you feel like the Flintistry as it is ready for something like that? Or is ready to have those conversations about acceptance of queer culture, of queer people, and how do I put this? And saying that it's okay. Like, if you want to be gay as fuck on the song, I'm gonna hop on the song with you regardless. But I'm just gonna let you do you while I enhance
Can I say
enhance
something?
shit. Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about the Flintistry, personally myself, I split the Flintistry up.
Come on.
I do.
Okay. Well,
I do.
Talk about
I
the splits.
personally split the Flintistry up
into what?
I don't want to say categories.
Okay. Well,
Or okay, how about like this? When we look at the real world, when we look at the real industry as far as music goes, A-list, B-list, C-list, D-list. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As far as,
because I mean, there are D-list actors and things of that nature.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I kind of split the Flintistry up in those aspects of things as far as the real work goes, if that makes sense.
So we're defining this as like there's a upper echelon of people in this scene around here, and then there's like some people who are wanna be and are like making moves to
get there.
Got you. And everybody in between.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And I do that, and I feel like it's very important that we do that, because I feel like it not only teaches people who are residing within the film industry that there's work to be done, and I feel like it also teaches people that this is your standard. This is who to watch. This is who to look at. This is who is doing the work. This is what you need to do to get here. And if you want to be within this scene of the work, you got to put in hard work, time, effort, money, and you got to sacrifice the hell of a lot of bullshit in order to obtain this central status. Okay. Even if you don't have real status. Okay. You get what I'm saying?
I get you.
You know, we keep it real with ourselves to a certain extent, you know, besides, you know, what it really is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, because Flint is probably one of the most has some of the most talented artists I've seen.
I will agree.
You know, and to heavily degrees, you know, some are more talented than people who, you know, are actually in the industry.
Most
you want to keep it real, you know?
Definitely.
Shit, I look at Benny, for instance. You know what I'm saying?
True.
You know, Benny got something real special.
That he does, especially when the beat productions that Benny be coming up with
and the arrangements.
Bro, I'll be like, dude,
let's talk about it.
Oh my gosh! But, again, shout out to Benny Beats.
You know, heavy shout out to Benny Beats. And okay, but to backtrack into what you were saying, so when we talk about this level of status, I feel that I don't feel like I have to work for acceptance. I feel like I'm already accepted just based off of the work that I do. I don't feel like I feel like I'm getting the respect that I work for. That I work for. I don't necessarily feel like I'm not one of those people who I'm about to look for every person to like my music, or I'm looking for every person.
You're not looking for that external validation.
No.
Okay.
So it's just kind of, if it's given and it's received, then that's just what it is. If it's not, then well, shit, fucking be it. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of where I'm at with it. And I find that a lot of people within the film industry who are, let's say, A-list, respect me. I got respect for them. Will work with me. I will work with them. And a lot of people have approached me trying to do work. You get what I'm saying? And I'm always down to work when, especially, I know it's with somebody who put in work, who got the talent. But there's a difference between being talented and there's a difference between being gifted. True. So I think there's just a lot of conversations that need to be had when we talk about the Flint industry anyways.
Okay, so you talking about Flint industry A-listers who have reached out to you, motherfucker. Name drop some niggas who has reached out to you.
As far as to work with me, or
who just who you consider to be at the upper echelon of this shit. Who's reached out to you and was like, Jesse, I love what you do, and I'm just praying. I don't know if they saying it like this, but just I love what you do. I see your grind. I see your hustle. I respect everything you do, and I respect you as a person. I want to be on your shit, or would you like to be on my shit?
Okay, I'll say it like this. I feel like it goes deeper than just artists. It goes producers.
Okay, well,
and then it goes your management too as well. Okay, so we can talk about. Okay, so if we gonna go management, we can go to Quindra, we can go R-Line. We can start there. If we're talking about artists, we can go Breathe Renee, we can go Xzavier V, we can go Jeff Sky, we can go. Even though me and Cassius have never talked about working, the respect is there. Cassius, we can go Figure. We can go. I'm cool with a lot of those area people. Yo, Cameron Tyler's. Too many conversations. Okay, D still is in the conversation. Heavy shout out to D still. We can go your Bernard Terry's. We can go your D Goldens. We can go your Journey. We can go some different places. Those are my high.
Those are your upper echelon people. Okay, so
even Carl Ferrillo, for sure.
Shout out to Ferrillo. Of course.
Shout out to Ferrillo.
So you're talking about there's a lot of different conversations that we can have about the Flint industry. So what's one conversation that we need to have within this industry?
How about having that conversation of A-list, B-list, C-list, who's doing the work? And even though I say A-list for Flint, you know what I'm saying? Flint industry, I
mean, that's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. Because we do got celebrities who are from the city of Flint who are up there, who got them streams, who got the following, who done the work. You get what I'm saying? For real. You know what I'm saying? So you got those people, but as far as the people who are up and coming and are really trying to do that work, I do feel that. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as, just artists, period, within the city, we don't get paid. Which is also something that still has, brought up. People don't want to pay people. These are questions and these are conversations.
This is true. And I think that's one of the reasons why I made that status around the time when the Glizzy Fest was happening, and I began finding out that, people are paying to perform in the city. When I heard that, I was like, what the fuck you mean y'all paying to perform? I'm like, as much money? So I think it's so, as you say that, I think about my perspective as a journalist. I think about my perspective as somebody who is having meetings with people who is coming downtown and sort of watching the play-by-play and things like that. And so and just hearing the conversations about how much money is being brought into the city on multiple different levels. And so it was just the fact that there's people having to pay to get put on, I was like, damn. That's crazy. And just recently got told that that's still a thing.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I don't think it's a bad thing that people pay for a slot. If you pay for your slot, that's because you want to pay for that slot. And real shit, sometimes when you coming up, you going to pay for a slot for a show that you really want to get in. If you know that you can, that show can help you.
So you're saying this is a sort of industry practice?
Yes, that's an industry practice. There's a such thing as an industry standard.
I better know. I mean, I believe it is.
And that's the thing when there are tours going on and you want to slot in a show, that slot costs you.
So you pay to get on.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Like that's not a lie. But I think when we're in a city like Flint, right? Okay, first of all, I'm gonna just say this: there's a such thing as fucking respect. People, let's start off with just respect.
True.
First of all, okay, I'm a singer.
Right.
You know, we know I dance, we know I rap, we know I do these things. But there's a such thing as fucking respect. Mm-hmm. And I feel like to offer a vocalist, first of all, you know, I'm a vocalist, and I'm not, you know,
You're feeling real
disclaimer.
passionate about this because
I feel passionate about a lot of
your
things.
inflection went up, and you just enunciating the fuck out of vocalists. Like,
You know, I'm a vocalist. I'm a vocalist. So when we have these different conversations, and you know, and we're talking about sets and how long sets should be, and we're trying to give sets out, and we're trying to be inclusive, but we also trying to gain our dollar.
Right.
Which a lot of times when we want to do music is supposed to be personal. It's not always about a dollar, even though business is real.
right.
You know, I believe in business.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like, y'all have to eat. Y'all have to survive. Y'all have bills to pay. Some of y'all have children. You know, some of y'all are the head of your households and taking care of parents and things of that nature. So, you know, you want to be compensated for your creations.
Yeah. You know, but when we talk about respect for an artist and their artwork, to offer an artist a 5-minute set, 5 minutes, five fucking minutes.
It's like
for a
what,
set,
a song and a half, one song?
And then you want me to pay you $150 to $200 for a 5-minute set to do a song and a half a song? A song and a half. Not 2 songs, a song and a half. Shit, one song is about 2 minutes and something. You know, people don't even do bridges or anything like that anymore in songs. You know, music has changed a lot over the years.
True,
But you get what I'm saying? Like, just to have these different types of conversations about what we do with music, how we present shows in the city of Flint, and who we decide to book and put on roster to show the work.
Right. So, how do I put this? So we talk about respect. You feel like respect is something that, across the board, you think that respect is something that is being given out equally, or being given out to those who are probably at the upper echelon of this whole thing?
I feel like we unintentionally. Okay, no. I'm careful with my words.
I see you being careful.
I believe we try to respect everyone, and we try to offer everyone a chance. When sometimes we probably just need to say, no, we're not going to do this because it doesn't make sense. And just start doing what makes sense. You know, because some things I'm going to speak on it. Let's go to Glizzy Fest.
I was like, what?
Let's go to Glizzy Fest. You know,
Let us
I'm
speak on
it.
everything.
Let's go to Glizzy Fest. I liked the show of Glizzy Fest because Glizzy Fest was something new for Flint. It was a different taste.
It was.
And I understand business. You get what I'm saying? So
True.
I get certain things and I understand why we do certain things. But I also feel like although everyone deserves a chance, let's make sure that we're giving the chances to the people who we know. And I say that literally, who we know are doing the work. You get what I'm saying? Like, who we know are doing the work and are putting forth those efforts in and are trying to do something within the Flint industry. People who are doing the work because we know that this is what they want to do for real and it shows. Like, you get what I'm saying?
So you're saying that, you know, we need to give everybody an opportunity, at the moment what we really should be doing is putting our weight behind those of them who are really doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you mind?
What's up?
On the
Yeah, what's up?
Like, honestly, in a sense, A-list, D-list, C-list celebrities, and especially in the Flint industry, like we have actual celebrities that come out of here that are diamond standard. Like we don't just have A-list, we have diamond.
Ooh, he said diamond.
Come on now.
Diamond.
I can take that. Come on, diamond standard. I like that.
Diamond
That's sexy.
standard.
It's dense now. It's getting denser, like real time.
Right.
Like Louis just got his check today. He just made diamond.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying when I say
I feel like we need a filter on our opportunities the same way we have a filter on our classes as people who work for the shit.
True.
For
The
sure.
opportunities we need to offer D-list opportunities. We need to offer B-list opportunities.
Right.
We need to offer A-list rosters.
Yes.
Right.
We need to put a diamond list tour together so that way, and an A-list training tour so that way the A-list can get ready for diamond, because we don't even have a next class that's actually ready to get out.
Okay, so now when we start speaking about the diamond list, because we can go there, because
I like this.
you said
diamond
Louis, I can
list.
say BFB.
Yeah, no, BFB's definitely diamond.
You know what I'm saying? BFB diamond.
Like full time.
Now I can say
Like, that's diamond.
when you become diamond list, I feel like you have kind of surpassed Flint industry.
Yeah.
Right.
In
I mean,
Flint industry
at
standards?
that point, you beyond the Flint industry, or you're moving
sure.
towards
You know what I'm
mainstream.
saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like you're at that point. You're commercial,
Right.
And I feel like once you get to that point of diamond list, or you've hit that commercial mainstream standard, I feel like now that
It's almost a responsibility they should have. We need to hold them accountable.
So
I can't hold somebody. Okay, I'm different. I'm a little different.
I definitely
The reason I'm
understand.
saying this is because, like, how can we have filters on our B list, D list, C list without having diamond list influence?
I get what you're saying.
Our diamond level, corporate level people are the ones creating opportunities here right now.
It's a sort of
that's real.
It's a sort of
That's
you
real.
you have
So I
made
there,
it.
and I had to come back.
But
because
I
realized
say-
that you have to build that up.
But understand, I say A-list because I keep it real about my own personal shit. And understand, I do fabulous work in the city. You get what I'm saying? But when you look at the dockets, I'm going to get gay with you. When you look at the dockets and you look at what
Give us the tea.
the resources and what Flint really has to offer an artist who doesn't have any following, who doesn't have shit. It's shit. You know, there's nothing.
It's here though. That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
If we had some sort of a accountability standard on the people who hold the keys, we'd actually have something to give the people who don't have shit something.
Yeah, but
Most definitely.
that's why I feel like also when we,
Because having medium, like, there's nothing to chip off of that.
but I feel like that's also why we need, you know, if, and I always say, you know, if I had the funding to do certain things, you know,
Right.
And level.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
up to
okay,
them.
like
You
if
know
Flint
that's
had
like one barrier.
a Met Gala,
Yeah.
if Flint had like a Met Gala or something like that,
And we had that
to-
we had that
You know what I mean?
conversation.
Be a
We had
scene.
that
yeah,
conversation
we had this
about
conversation. You know what I
about
want to do.
I know what you want to do, and I thought I still do believe that that's a beautiful idea. And what I put out on Facebook, you know, I was like, I see everybody talking about that we need to come together. We need to come together. Well, then let's take this. We need to come together off social media, get a space, and let's come together to in a real sort of way.
I
do
want to
that.
bring this in. Okay, so I'm on live. So D Steele just made a comment in my comment section, and she said that she doesn't feel that it doesn't work that way. The Flindustry and commercial artists, mainstream artists, are not the same. She said you would need another artist to blow in order for people to pull other artists up. His POV is wishful thinking, but no offense. And I agree with her. And I agree with her to the extent of
You can't tell someone to go back.
exactly.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? But not only just that, I want to say to Steele, I feel like we can't say we need other, artists to, kind of blow in order for people to start pulling other people up. Because I feel like we've had those artists who have came in and,
Said that the whole time.
said that, and tried to name drop. I'll even throw, BFB out there. I'll throw BFB out there, because even like how he shouted out Jeff Num, in one of his interviews. So I think people are looking at us here in the city, but do I feel like as
They're
far as
sharing
the
the
city
spotlight.
goes, like, do we have a level of charted respect?
What do you mean charted respect?
You got mainstream charts, Billboard. Do we have like a Billboard of Flint?
Has charts. I feel it.
You get what I'm saying? Like, not trying to say it like that, but like.
So I would
in
say.
Those respects.
I think that would be a conversation that I would like to when I do bring, and shout out to the
Still said no.
Shout out to the women of the 810 flow. I think that would be something, or that might be something that they would end up tackling, considering that they are positioning themselves to be the power source of Flint. I think something like that would naturally, at least in my view, would come from them, because if you remember, they did have a sort of list or what?
I'm about to shatter your reality, bro.
Shatter it.
Listen. Okay, so 2017, there's a studio space and a venue space on Linden and Lennon Road.
Okay.
It's called Wave Mob.
Okay.
That was mine. I started it, hired employees, broke down the wall and everything, put a stage in there, sound system and everything for a venue space. We got noticed by Flintside, and they offered me a radio interview and everything, interviewed with them. And Jason Whiting Entertainment was working with them also at the time. He was their sound dude. And once I wrapped up, because I just sold the studio, I moved to Florida. I was like, bro, you guys aren't ready yet. Like, I'm moving way ahead of time.
Come on, not ready yet.
So I just moved to Florida, kept going with my personal artistry. Came back, but while we were building that whole radio influence and everything, we ran a whole marketing campaign off of it. But before, we met and sat down, and I mean, the names that were just listed and with the keywords you're seeing there, like, there's a lot of influence that are building the infrastructure behind a lot of what builds the city.
Right.
We started putting together a local award show in a charting category. It's called the Jennies, kind of like the Grammys. And
Come on,
the Jennies.
Yeah.
Get you.
That way it's not just limited to Flint, 'cause a lot of the best art doesn't just come from Flint.
Right, I agree.
It's a lot of influence with Flint artists and other artists. Like my partner in the music scene, he's from Flushing. So
is the Jenny still a thing?
It's currently in development. Like you're standing in a piece of it. This is a piece of the construct. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm able to just walk around here. Like,
Got you.
It's already in development. The problem is like we pitched this in 2016, 17.
Well, I mean, you got to think about what was happening in like 2016, 2017, especially here. Like we were
different times.
It's just like when we have stuff like that were already on deck, powers that be, with new influence. When the actual audience and awareness and attention funding came here, the things we're asking for were not met.
I can agree. I can attest to that.
I'm 23, bro. I'm like one of the youngest ones on the roster right now, but I just got back from a 2-season tour. I'm waiting.
Right.
Like, release the things that are there. Like, I can only drive myself personally.
Oh, most definitely. Definitely.
Let me go here with the both of y'all on that. You said
to blow up to do it. Like, we need the people that are already here to go in on that.
You said something that hit home. I feel like that was probably the best thing you said. You said they were not ready. You said they weren't ready. I'm sick of people saying what they are not ready for and just to start doing the work.
And that's why I opened the venue.
It's too much fear.
Like, fuck it.
We get so scared and so wrapped up into other people's ideologies of what
success looks like.
Success looks like what
a lot of
what
things
we should look like,
right.
just as our own individual person, instead of just diving head first into whatever.
Right, following your guts, following that spirit that leads you to do whatever.
And also, Flint has a huge lack of togetherness. We don't know how to show up for each other. Versus when you go to Detroit, that's all they do is show up for each other. And I can definitely attest to you and agree with you on that, but I'm also learning that with Flint, it's also about approach. I can't approach Flint the way... Okay, for example, I teach dance here in the city of Flint as well as I teach dance in Detroit.
Right.
I can't approach Flint when it comes to classes the way that I can go to Detroit and approach Detroit with a Detroit class. It don't work for me.
Two different energies.
Two different flows.
Right. Different people.
And two different mentalities, and just like as far as the self-esteem, the confidence, the
infrastructure,
the influence.
That too.
It's different. Flint is built upon our own personal influence. And I don't want to say... Okay. Something my mama always told me was to look at the greats. You know, so... Me growing up, my thing was I looked at the greats. I looked at for me, Luther Vandross, your Jill Scotts, your Erykah Badu's, your Will Downings, your Patti LaBelle's growing up. Versus I feel like a lot of Flint people look at Flint people. If that makes sense to a degree.
100%.
So you mean Flint people have a sort of limited field of vision that they have, maybe that they have access to, number one, and maybe that they don't realize is limited because they don't know that it's limited.
Exactly, but that's also why I say we don't have like a group. We don't have a setup where, like I said, like a standard. Like we don't have a standard. Like okay, I'm gonna even talk about this. I made a post on Facebook where I was saying, just as far as my community here in Flint, that I'm looking for more, and that I'm expecting more, and that I'm not just looking for people who want to dance, who dance is fun for them. No, I'm looking for people who are passionate about this shit and who want to come take class, who ready to travel, who ready to get in that back and make sacrifices. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for fun and petty. I'm not looking for that. And like we got to get out of this thing of I don't want to say being humble, because that's not necessarily what I want to say. We got to get out of this thing that
we're holding ourselves back, trying to hold ourselves to everyone around us as standards. And I see your point, because with that scenario I had, the studio, like I had Jeff performing, I had Ace performing, I had Topso performing, freaking Schizo was coming through, like the Lemon Collies, like I made sure the people that were trending at the time were there.
He showed name dropping. He done named some names too.
Okay,
and that was back
the
then.
upper echelon at that.
But like I'm processing this, and what you're telling me is I literally dropped the ball on my accountability. So what if they're not ready? I've already done it. Follow through.
Exactly, that's the biggest thing is that follow through. Because when people see that you looking for more, and you require more of them, that makes them. Okay. I gotta get myself together. I gotta really like.
If they are of a particular caliber where their ego does not fuck them up, where they can have a moment of self-reflection and say, okay, he's required, or this person or whomever is requiring more for me. Let me sit in reflection and see, okay, can I go harder? Can I do more? You know what I mean?
I think my biggest problem with that is, like, I'm from the east side, but, like, first of all, the east side, we know the respect the east side has in the city. It's the lowest of all the sides in the city. On top of, like, maybe, like, if you're stepping somewhere, you won't step, but, like, inviting, you're not inviting type energy. So, like, going...
East side? You feel like that about east side?
Yeah, for sure. Over west, north, or, like, north has that, but north has the city. The city flocks to the north because we love the north.
Facts.
We don't love the east.
That's facts.
I don't know why, but like we don't.
Because of the narrative that has been generated in media about the east.
I feel that. But the water tower's in the east.
Right.
I developed cancer personally from being in the east. Like, and it's just like I went to my middle, but then after being from the east and being in the city again, I was like, I'm not dealing with this, dude.
Right.
Like, I'm too creative for this.
Right.
So then I went to Kearsley so I could do sports and graduate, go to college. Ended up doing that, and then when I came back from college, I got a concussion, lost my scholarship. The studio space venue was me getting back up again after losing my college.
Okay.
Got you.
Being from the east, being from Kearsley, going to college, coming to do what I did, again, it goes back to that respect thing. Like, I've already put in the work. I have it. It's there. But because I was an outsider doing it, I didn't get that push from the city that I was looking for, and that's where I was like, they're not ready. And I came to a point of personal accountability with my own artistry.
Got you.
Like that, I need to get my own artistry to the point where it's so I can actually get the movement I'm looking for.
So I mean, yeah, because we all have our own biases and viewpoints and lenses that we view things from, and so they might have been ready, but because of your experiences, you was like, nah, these niggas ain't ready.
I mean, it's more like, bro, every grown man, especially a grown black man, coming from Flint especially, we demand respect and conversation.
True.
I'm not offering any of those names I listed off the opportunity for that without respect and conversation.
So do you feel that, or do y'all feel that, going back to this limited frame of view, right? Because they do say, or it is said that you do mimic your environment. And so if you are looking around and you can, how do I put this? Because I know what I'm saying, but I want to make sure I'm saying it.
When you only looking at who's around you and you're not looking past everybody who's around you.
You think that's it.
That's it.
And you get stuck.
Flint is a lot bigger than we think it is.
So is this a pervasive problem?
Yes. Fuck
okay.
Yeah. We sit around and we don't take that time to really like, okay, my testimony. When I first started this dance shit for real in the city, and I started putting in that time with the city of Flint, I think I found myself looking so heavily within the direction of my friends and my peers around me who were already heavily invested in dance that I didn't give the everybody else's and the different cliques around outside of my people a chance, because I was so much looking at the people who are directly in front of me that I didn't give everyone in my peripherals a chance to say what's up, or even just to turn around and say, oh, hey, girl, hey, you back there. I see you, hey.
Hey, bitch.
I see you with your heels on. Would you want to take a heels class? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's about who we reach out to. That's just like how you were just talking about yourself as an outsider and you feel like, yo, Vin, you didn't pop off because you were an outsider.
Not pop. I just didn't feel like dealing with the respect anymore. Like, it was popping. I just didn't feel like dealing with it. And that's where I came with the I'm not ready. But the follow through, I feel you. Like, that comes on me.
There's a lot to unpack with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He hit me hard when he said he didn't want to deal with the respect.
You know, the lack of.
The lack of respect?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same way on the podcast, coming from an LGBTQ standpoint. If someone treats you a certain way off of sheer prejudice, despite what information you have inside your vessel, you refuse to continue.
So I guess the question would be for you anyway. How did you believe that you said you were outsider? In what ways did you feel like you were an outsider?
When I'm trying to message you on Facebook about the venue that I'm booking you in, and you refuse to message me back, and you think you can just show up.
That's a respect thing.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't say that's a respect thing.
That's where I was coming. I'm not dealing with the lack of respect.
Because the understanding is, it's about how you establish the control. It's about how you establish control.
Yeah, business is business. I'm not offering D level. This is Linden and Lennon Road.
Right.
I agree.
Like, follow the business procedures or you don't get the business.
But it's also about how you establish those business procedures too at the same time. If you come at this is like me hitting.
I feel that.
This is like me hitting Breela up. Girl, I'm about to book you for a show. Bitch, this is blah 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 blah. Okay, girl. And then I call you in the show day, and she texts me blah 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 blah. I'm texting and calling her about booking the show, and she just freelanced me. No, it's about how you establish that business foundation. You get what I'm saying? As far as, okay, how you about to reach out to these people? How you about to conduct business with these people to make sure that they doing what they need to do?
It goes back to what you said.
And how you promote your business and building to look like something other than just Not saying that it is a hole in a wall or just another venue in Flint that somebody can go to do music.
Right.
You gotta make your shit look like you one of the hottest in this bitch, and make sure that everybody else has enough respect for you and your building and your business to make them understand that, okay, high priority time.
Right.
I need to be on it or I'm getting dropped.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
That was really it was 6 months, dude. I had like sold out shows consistently. In 6 months I sold it because I just wasn't dealing with it. And part of that, I'm young.
Well, yeah, I was also going to throw that out there.
Because I feel like
these are grown ass niggas trying to little bro me while I'm owning something.
They used to do this to me.
No, I'm not dealing.
Think about me though.
Like, but you took your art to Detroit. Mm-hmm. You found a way to get that ego you needed to deal with all this shit, and then you came back and you handled it the way you knew you needed to, and that's pretty much what I did.
It's definitely about I definitely agree with you. It's definitely about how you present yourself in your business and what, to go back to what you were talking about, what's the standard for you in your business? But that's the same thing about life and just being a person, right? Like, if you don't set a standard or, in a sense, know who you are, you give opportunity for anybody else to come and define you. So, I mean, it's the same way for your business, for your artistry. Like, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, then you allow other people to sort of critique and sort of...
Not only that, but it's also about who you let into your space. If you let just anybody into your space to record, if you let anybody in your space to just perform...
There's
anybody gonna feel like
I don't even know I'm building constructs right over. I feel you.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, when you, that's like, I don't know. Let me not do. That's like, okay, okay, but like
you almost exposed the hell out of somebody.
Not necessarily exposed, but I almost said something that I shouldn't say.
Not that I was gonna mind. I was gonna be like, well,
you know,
I was gonna be like,
but like that's like putting two people on. That's like you put a set list together of like 5 people who you gonna put on set, and you put the wrong headliner with somebody who like, you know, just don't match up, it don't make sense. And it's like, if you think I'm getting ready to perform on the same set with this person, it don't make sense. If you think my dollar equates with this next person equates to, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a standard,
and it goes back to the classes. And I wasn't even aware of the classes at that. Honestly, 2016, 17, we didn't even really have.
No, we were dealing with a water crisis. So what nobody really doing shit creatively here in the city. Like, I mean, and so like I can speak about the time. Right, so like when we think about the time before the water crisis, right? We think about all of the shows that was popping up at the Flint local. We think about shout out to Tia with the Dope Show. We thinking about some other stuff that was happening. You know, there was a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity. Like, I remember being down here at Cafe Rama and running into so many people who were starting businesses, who were moving into higher consciousness and spirituality,
which is crazy.
Okay, who was doing music, who was doing art. Like, it was popping down here, and now like it was popping in a diverse way, in a diverse, inclusive way. Like, it wasn't just white people in suits. It was black people, it was Hispanic people, it was queer people, it was people who was dressing and looking all kind of ways. Like, it was
full costume every day
kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, plus intermixing with a lot of the college community that was roaming around here back in the day. Like, the industry back then, like, it was blossoming and blooming, but then the water crisis happened, which did hamper everything. So for me, it's like what's happening right now is something that probably would have happened in 2016, 2017, where we was just in the midst of a water crisis trying to fucking survive, as people would say Flintstones always do.
Okay.
Just try to survive.
I agree.
Okay, what?
I agree. But if we're talking about the Flint industry, as far as how the city has moved and evolved and how people have evolved within these last couple years, I'm not going to say it was the water crisis. I'm going to say the water crisis had instrumental influence as far as how people look at the economy. But I'm going to say that COVID, this pandemic, has sat so many people down and created so many different conversations that needed to happen, and has allowed so many people to get a different outlook on their businesses. Do you know how many businesses have been able to thrive?
Oh, most definitely.
Just based off of this pandemic alone?
Most definitely.
COVID pandemic has allowed Flint to thrive as far as black businesses, as far as the Flint industry, as far as the music. Like, we've seen so many, I don't know if I'm about to use the right, triumphs from...
I would say that's a good word to use.
Triumphs from the COVID pandemic when it comes to the Flint industry within just this year alone.
Most definitely.
Like, it's ridiculous to think about how far the Flint industry has come within just this 1 year.
Right. It's a huge way.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say...
But no, but I mean, I think that's what I'm saying. Like, as a sort of 1-2 punch of the Flint water crisis and then COVID, like...
Okay, 1-2 punch. I like that.
The pent-upness. And not only that, like, so I'm going to add an extra layer onto this. I'm going to add a spiritual level to this. And thinking about the level of consciousness that the world has evolved into, you know what I mean, over the last couple of years. How many people are more interested, for better and for worse, how many more people are interested in trying to get their energy right and trying to understand who they are, is taking the time to meditate and do yoga or whatever.
Because we have...
Like, what was that?
I'm sorry, me just being mean.
What's happening here?
But I say because this pandemic has stripped us away of what I feel like social media, and mainly the biggest thing is social media, but just these materialistic ass constructs have mentally blocked a lot of people from really understanding about the world that we live in today and how hard it is to survive in this world. You get what I'm saying? Like,
we're already living in it.
I was like, take us a bit deeper, because there's multiple levels, not just the materialistic thing that I feel not broke down, but sort of, how do I put this?
I would say it's honestly a sense of like classism that the rest of the world used to have over us, in the sense of the rest of the world was always richer than us, and now the rest of the world is poor. We've always been poor, so now we're learning how to use these pieces and flex on. Like nobody else's poverty.
You really gotta realize that you gotta survive out here. Like, it's not. Like, this pandemic has made a lot of people, especially I could say my generation, just kind of realize, like, it's hard out here in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like...
Your people and pack up.
Social media makes everything look kind of perfect.
Yeah, I mean...
And it gives you, like, this...
It makes you feel like everything is okay. But if you're intuitive enough and if you can see good enough, then you will be able to wear that. Most things that people post on social media doesn't mean that it's good. You know what I mean?
But understand, I feel like a lot of these younger generations are raised into social media.
They don't even know that that's just a set.
Exactly. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like those are the differences between, like, the baby bloomers versus, like, the millennials. You get what I'm saying? Like, that hard work mentality where you got to get your ass out early at dusk to work. You get what I'm saying? To make it happen. You get what I'm saying? Versus where you got babies, crying and pitching fits because they ready to get into a phone and they ready to play some games and they want to get on Instagram and they want to get on Facebook and they want to watch Megan Thee Stallion and her 2Ps.
That's a
or
whole,
Cardi B walking through her mansion looking. You get what I'm saying? As if that's like a real.
That's a whole. That's a whole. For me, that's a whole separate conversation that I feel like.
But I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand though when we look at things. You get what I'm saying? And when we talk about the pandemic and what the pandemic has done, I feel like the pandemic has stripped those ideologies of us. When you look at my generation,
I don't think so. I feel like
for our generation, yes. For the generation above us, bro,
no,
nothing but build it.
But you get where I'm coming from with those,
we were there to the point where we were actually living it. And then, like, I was in San Francisco when COVID hit, and then I had to hop back on a Greyhound, leave my job opportunities, and go back to this hellhole, and still make it look good. Just to keep leads coming in for my business.
But also, okay, I want to stop you because you just said something that just hit a button a little bit because I am like this and I'm like this with my friends too. I want us to really get out of this thing where we come back to Flint and we want to consider Flint a hellhole.
America, not Flint.
Okay.
No.
But you said hopped on a Greyhound to come back to this hellhole.
No.
You know.
Okay, I see your point.
You know what I'm saying?
Good looks on Catch Me.
You know, because Flint is home, and I feel like we always come back to home, and we think that this is the bottom. I don't feel like Flint is the bottom. I feel like Flint is working grounds. Flint teach you how to live in a real world. You get what I'm saying? I really do believe that.
By America, I meant like the set and then hell. Set, hell. Like there's the chaos and then there's the set. Like right now, we're on the set.
We're on the set, yes.
Close these lights off. We turn the mic on. Hell. That's what I meant by that. No, it's a geographic location.
That's interesting. Like I don't.
24/7.
I don't. Me personally, I don't feel like that. And maybe that's.
You're a reporter.
I mean, not even. I mean, he said I'm a reporter. Not even just a reporter. Again, to take it back to that sort of that spiritual space of what is the perspective that I'm looking at all of this through. And if I'm looking at it through a lens of when all of these lights and cameras and shit cut off and I'm in hell, then that's what I'm going to create in my reality is hell.
Exactly.
But so then the question becomes, am I scared of hell or am I scared of myself and the vulnerability that is going to take me to rise up above not only my external circumstances but my internal circumstances. So is it really
Hallelujah.
so?
Do you know yourself well enough to go through hell?
That's what I'm saying. So like so that's why I'm looking at this different because it's like, okay, yeah, kids might be and probably are born into a social media world or a landscape, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily have to project or pretend that everything is fine. What is the level of vulnerability and authenticity that you are moving forward, that your spirit is allowing you to express through these mediums? Because at the end of the day, social media is what we make of it. Social media was not designed for the purposes that we're utilizing it for.
I think you missed me.
Against that now.
When you just said that, you missed me.
What do you mean I missed you?
Your generation of the generation that you grew up in, you didn't grow up where social media was already present and heavy.
Right, I get that.
So whereas growing up in my generation, when I'm 3, I had 2 phones.
I get you.
And I'm growing up to a concept that social media and I'm not saying that I think like this, but when you grow up in social media and you wake up and you getting in your phone to see
I get it.
What they about to wear or
I mean I'm looking
I'm
looking at my nieces and nephews, right? You know, so I get it and I understand it, but I guess I'm also of the mentality that just because let me backtrack. That's one aspect of the reality. Or let me say it like that. Okay. That's one aspect, but that doesn't necessarily. It's a spectrum. That doesn't mean that everybody from your generation is following that same trajectory or that line of thought. That's what I mean. Like that is very true, because there are people who get their lives met and get all of their needs met through social media, but then there are others who, you know, can look beyond and see beyond and understand that this is just a medium and this is just a tool. for me to do what I need to do.
But okay, I'm not necessarily just thinking as far as a tool. I'm looking at social media as a fantasy.
It's a construct.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
As a fantasy of what a lot of people.
I mean, that's why you have people getting surgery trying to look like the Snapchat filter.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
And when we go back to and I'm not saying that we should go back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying let's go back. But what I'm saying is let's reroute our mentalities to think, okay, why did they think like this back then to now?
You know what is funny? Because I really think we saying the same.
Okay, we probably okay, yeah.
The same thing.
Just wording it different.
Because I'm listening, I'm like, no, I agree with you. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
All right, but we're going to have to end it on this because I've been sitting here having to use the restroom for like 30 minutes now. And I have no idea what the audio video playback is going to look like because it turned into a 3-person thing. So I have no idea what this is going to look like, what this is going to sound like. But I know I just really have to use the restroom right now. But thank y'all for stopping by the Modern Queer Podcast. Thank you, Jess Davis, a.k.a. Jess J. Jacoby. Why can't I talk now?
Because you just Jesse. Just Jesse.
I'm just calling you just Jesse. Oh, we should say that. Just Jesse. You know, too many nicknames. Thank you, Jesse, for stopping by the Modern Queer Podcast and blessing us with the incredible amount of conversation that you brought to this, that for the Flint industry, for queer culture, for life, for just a lot of different reasons. I can't wait to see what this looks like in post and things like that. Thank you, good sir, John, for interjecting and, you know, stepping into the ring of, how do I put this, of exposing yourself on some level and your ignorances from back then and wanting to, at least while you're here, at least wanting to be a part of this and see what you can learn and see what you can bring to the table as well. So thank you for stepping in and giving your insight and your commentary.
And also thank you for respecting the queerness.
That too.
Thank you for the respect of the queerness.
He said it's the respect for the queerness for him.
Of course.
Most definitely. I mean, we could also say the same for Miguel over here.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
It takes a certain level of emotional intelligence to be able to deviate from the spectrum.
As well as mental stability.
And understanding who you are.
That goes hand in hand with that mental stability.
It's all the same thing. So with that being said, thank y'all for sticking around for another episode of the Modern Queer Podcast.
Yeah.
Again, I'm your host, Xzavier V. Simon. Check out The Modern Queer at themodernqueer.com. Check me out at Xzavier V. Simon on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you hit up J. Jacoby.
Yo, ain't he handsome?
Okay. I'm all fucked up now. Alright, we'll catch y'all later again. Peace, 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 peace.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You ain't never met me for the moon crack. No, you ain't never labeled me as cool fat. Oh, I'm the one who bringing Stella's groove back. Fuck whoever let R. Kelly in the schools. Like this planet only raising up the fool.